Peace, Hotel family. Welcome to the King Kaleema show. I'm your humble host, Kaleema Heru. Tonight we're gonna be doing the show a little different. Got two guests from out of Seattle, Washington. Two powerful brothers that reached out to me to link up organizations so we can make it even more powerful. Anyway, we have John Morocco and Magnetik. Both brothers are in Seattle, Washington. We're doing this via Hangout. So sit back and enjoy it. I think we're going to give you some great information. So peace. So I'm going to allow these brothers to introduce themselves. We're going to start out with Brother Magnetik. Go ahead, brother.
Indeed. Peace and blessings. Peace to the gods, peace to the earth, peace to all my righteous throughout the planet. If you knowledge wisdom down there, you understand it. I am Magnetik, metaphysical mastermind Allah, coming from Morocco, 82, aka known as Seattle, and I am here in the building.
Peace. This is John Morocco, aka Shot 7, Universal Mind of Allah, aka J Classic, aka Omar Solar. I'm here in the building as well. I'm originally from North Carolina, gas custodian of the gas house. Shout out to all the Asiatic families all over the planet Earth. I now reside in Morocco, aka.
Okay. So today we coming together, like I was saying in the beginning. Me and the brothers been talking. They turned me on to this 16 Black Meccas, and we want to find out a little bit more about it. Put the people up on what's going on with it. So the first question that we want to know is what exactly is the 16 Black Meccas, brothers?
Yeah, great question, family. The 16 Black Meccas is 16 black centers of commerce, culture, history, even where people who are not black come through and pick up some money, pick up culture, see what's going on, pick up the pace and the pulse of a particular area, right? Different regions. And I'll just go ahead and name them all for you. So, we're not just speculating, because we are talking about places, not just, concepts. So the first one is we call it Mecca. And they called it, back in the day, like in the 30s and 20s, they called it the Negropolis, the first Negropolis, meaning the Negro city. And that is Harlem, New York. We call that Mecca, the gods and earths, because that's where our founder actually set up our headquarters for the Nation of Gods and Earths, formerly known as the 5%. So once again, that's in New York. It's called Harlem. We call that Mecca. The second one is New Jerusalem, which is New Jersey. I don't have to say nothing about that. It's a whole bunch of people from New Jersey who we know from New Jersey who are greats, who are world-renowned, who've done a lot of powerful things. The third one is Now See, where you at, which we call, which is North Carolina, and y'all from there. So, that make it great. But like you were saying yesterday, the one brother, Robert F. Williams, is from there, and he's a very great, powerful figure within our history as black people here in North America. The second one is what we call Allah's Garden. The fourth one is what we call Allah's Garden, which is Atlanta, Georgia, which is actually where my family is from, And that's a place, that was like the capital of the South, That was like the crossroads, like of the South, where, I'd say East Coast met West Coast, or where you could get a train from the West Coast and then it would meet with and take you to and through the East Coast. And that's a place where there were a lot of plantations. That was like the cotton center, I think a tobacco center, but that was a place where a lot of the food for America was grown by us and then fed the rest of America. That's a Lost Garden, Georgia, and to this day, that's still an economic center, also of education as well. The fifth one is D Mecca, which we call, people call Detroit. And that's the first place where W.D. Farrar came and actually taught, in a place called Black Bottom. And he said he was looking for the black stone, the pyramid stone, okay?
Okay.
We know in the Quran, they say that originally the first man was made from black mud. Okay, he went there. There's a very dark soil in Detroit that's called Black Bottom. You see, so he found the black soil and the black stone in Detroit. Detroit is also the place, I believe, Noble Drew Ali called Mecca. That was the place where he came and touched down,
Chicago.
Chicago, okay. Well, they said Detroit was very instrumental as well, too, though.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they said Detroit was very instrumental, so. And then the sixth one is what you just said, Chicago, Sea Mecca. The gods call it Sea Mecca. And from my understanding, Chicago was founded by an original man who came up the Mississippi, on a boat, and actually was the first person to put a flag down and claim the place that they call Chicago. We also know the Nation of Islam's headquarters there. We know Obama came from there. We know Jesse Jackson started out there. We know Fred Hampton started out in the NAACP, started the Black Panther chapter there as well. Chicago got a whole lot of powerhouses, man. We'd be here all day if I kept folks naming all the black millionaires and the commerce masterminds in Chicago.
Indeed.
So the seventh cipher is what we call Cipher Heat, and that's Ohio. I ain't gonna lie, I don't know a whole lot about Ohio. I do know that knowledge was made born there. I know there's a lot of gods that was there, and a lot of black people that was there that helped to develop the economy and the culture of Ohio. Unfortunately, they kind of made it into a prison state because a lot of places that we go and where we master, they want to criminalize it. Okay, so then the eighth one is what we call King's Seat, and that's Kansas City. Now, any place, if it's the headquarters of barbecue, that's automatically a black spot, you see. Because you got Ken in Barbie, but then you got barbecue, you see, which is the blackest part, I got a friend of mine, he's from there, and he does some really good music. His name is Malachi Kane, and he always tell me about, there's a lot of different groups there, from the Nation of Gods and Earths to the Nation of Islam. Even there's some Moors there, and like even the Crips and the Bloods and the different, street organizations, they're kind of all on the same page here in Kansas City because, it's a lot of white folks that are very racist there. So if the folks ain't on the same page, you can get caught up real quick, But Kansas City, that's the home of barbecue, headquarters of barbecue. Then the ninth one we got is what we call Sea Love. That's Colorado. Listen, I don't really know much about Colorado. Hopefully we can find somebody that's from Sea Love and they can give us the rundown on what the original people have done there and the history of it. But I hear there's like an Ethiopian museum there, and just, a lot of people making knowledge for them, but just it's not real visible at this point. Then the 10th one we got is the Sudan. And I'm not quite sure if the Sudan is Dallas or Houston, but I know it's
Dallas.
Okay, it's Dallas.
It's in Texas.
I appreciate that.
Okay, Dallas.
And it's a lot of gods down there. We got a brother by the name of Mega who went down there and did like a whole tour and talked to a lot of the brothers that's in that area that made knowledge born, that's still reaching and teaching throughout Dallas and Houston and the Texas area. And then the next one, we got the 11th one is Cypher King. That's Oklahoma. We know Oklahoma is where the Gap Band is from. We also know that's, most importantly, that's where Black Wall Street is at. Recently, what is the guy, is his name Greenberg? The guy, the ex-mayor of New York? Who's running for president?
Bloomberg. It's one of them
He
birds.
Recently, yes, sir, one of the birds, what I mean?
Yeah.
But this is the guy who passed the stop and frisk law.
Exactly.
So he was recently in Oklahoma. This guy had the nerve to say he just learned about Black Wall Street. He's running for president, campaigning in Oklahoma. He just learned recently about Black Wall Street. So we know we won't be voting for him. But once again, that's Cypher King, and this is one of the #1 economic centers of the black, the 16 Black Meccas, where we saw black people come together in commerce, education, with family, with culture, and truly put it together, But we know they were attacked, and that was blown to pieces by people who didn't want to see us fluctuate, as we say, Cypher King. Then the 12th one is what we call Love of Law, okay, and that's Los Angeles.
Okay.
Now, the beautiful thing that I love about Love of Law, which is in California, okay? California was named after a black woman named Queen Khalifa. And that's like the figure, but really that was a whole tribe of people, the Khalifas.
Okay.
And this was a black group that had been in the wilderness of North America, particularly on the West Coast, for at least 10 to 20,000 years, at least, with the last recorded. So when people try to say that, we ran the Mexicans off their land, that's incorrect. No. We've been here a long time. In fact, some of my family is Khalifa, and they used to tell me about this back in the day, and I thought it was a myth. I thought it was an old urban myth until I started recently reading. And no, even the Los Angeles was founded by a black man.
Okay.
They don't tell that story. They make you think that we're invading the Mexicans' land. Incorrect. They invaded our land, which is Los Angeles, which is California. So then the 13th one is what we call Cypher land. Once again, this is in the Khalifa land, Oakland. And we know Oakland is the home of the Black Panther Party, where the Panther Party kind of jumped off its whole thing on the West Coast. That's not the first place. The first place was Lowndes County, Alabama. But on the West Coast, the first place where it really jumped off was Oakland, California. And actually, two of my uncles, Elmer Dixon and Aaron Dixon, and another brother who was actually a council member up here, Larry Gossett, they drove down to Lil Bobby Hutton's funeral and got their charter. So they were like the second chapter outside of California, But once again, this is Cypherland, Oakland. If you go there now, there's a lot of gentrification happening, but it's still a black center of commerce, where a lot of people recognize that as one of our centers. Number 14 is Power Cypher, and Power Cypher is Portland, Oregon. Now, people...
All right.
Now, some people would say, well, wait a minute, now that sounds like Klan land.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you see what I see? But at the same time, I have to say, I know a lot of black people who are actually from Portland and, who went there and who lived there for a long time. I've went down there and done concerts. It's a lot of conscious people down there, but they're kind of scattered, But however, there is some consciousness, there is some knowledge moving through there. Power Cypher, I think that might be a place where we have to revisit and kind of regather the people because they've been scattered just like a lot of the other places. Then the 15th one is what we call Timbuktu, Tacoma, and that's up here in Washington. Now you say, well, wow, I would never think somewhere like Tacoma would be a Black Mecca, but at the same time, there's a military base there. Tacoma is like a southern city up north. It's like you take a city from down south and you move it up north because the type of foods people eat down south, there's the type of restaurants you're going to find there. The down homeness of a lot of places down south, you're going to find that in Tacoma. It's more laid back than Seattle because it's actually like the sister city of, what we call Morocco, what they call Seattle. And that's actually the 16th Mecca, the one we were talking about yesterday where we were talking about the fair and the parade. And there was an original man by the name of George Washington Bush. Let me say that again. Original man by the name of George Washington Bush that Washington was named after because he founded it, before any of these other traders came because the Indians saw what happened to the rest of America. So they wasn't letting no pale faces in back in the day. Even when Lewis and Clark came, there was a brother with them by the name of York. And he got them in. They couldn't just come in. They was like, nah, no pale face. So, but before them, it was a brother, like I said, by the name of George Washington Bush, and he was the one that came up here and settled and kind of made it a place that's palatable for existence, for commerce, for culture, etc. And, like Jay Morocco was talking about, original people have been here since like the 1870s,
Okay.
Even prior to them, the white man having a settlements here, we were here. We were up here in this area. And since then, we've been here building, building community.
Okay, absolutely. So those are the 16, the 16.
Yes,
And yeah, Oregon, and of course, I told you last night, Seattle. I didn't realize the conscious community were in these places. And I'll be honest, when I feel the same way. Well, I thought the same way about Colorado.
Wow.
But that just shows that I stay stuck over here in the East Coast, on the East Coast. Okay. Speaking. I like because I'm not sure. I never did anything on Green Book. I haven't even thought about doing it. But since you brung it up, I want the people to know a little bit more about Green Book, because I found out about it maybe like 3 years ago. But go ahead and elaborate on it.
Well, what I know about it, I don't know exactly who wrote it, who put it out, but I do know that my grandmother and grandfather, they came up here from Georgia. They drove, basically, So
and
they had
used
to know where they could stop, and where they couldn't stop, what businesses they could go to and not get lynched or shot, or reported on by the Klan as being an escaped nigger from somewhere. Exactly. That's how they played it back then. So it was just. So
you say the Green Book is actually that old? I didn't realize it was that old.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
But let me explain to the people.
It goes all the way back to the 40s and the 50s, family.
Okay, let me explain to the people.
There might have been a new one that came out. I didn't know they had a new one all the way up through the 60s and the 70s, but they said some people said they carried it to at least to the 60s. But I know back then you had the Green Book, because say you was driving through somewhere, there's certain businesses you couldn't even stop at. See, you have real problems with the Klan or with some of them good old boys, Big Bill, Buckle Billy and them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You couldn't even stop. So you had to know where you could stop to use the bathroom to be.
Green Book is still popping today.
I didn't know that.
Yes, it's still popping today. That's why I was going to explain to the people. Green Book is like our Yellow Pages
directory.
Yeah, Yeah, to tell you what roads to take when you going in and out of state, wherever you going. Yeah, Green Book is popping today.
Okay.
It was built on the concept of the Underground Railroad.
Okay.
You're saying that leads you from one spot to the next to be able to get to where you can have a better life. But the Green Book was a directory that basically was built on the concept of the Underground Railroad. It was where you listed all of these different places that we could patronize, and also hotels and clubs and things of this nature that you could go to when you hit a particular town. But it was built in that same concept.
Yeah,
Does anybody know why they call it the Green Book? I always wondered that.
I don't have that science.
Okay. Yeah.
What about you, Morocco?
But kind of the science of the 16.
Okay.
Yeah, but I was gonna say that's pretty much the science of the 16 Black Meccas.
Okay.
That, we want to reinforce what the Green Book did, just expand it.
Okay. So that's
where it's not maybe one business. It's like a neighborhood.
Conglomerate. Yeah, I got you.
When you come to Seattle, you know where to come. You know who to connect with. You know where the commerce is at. You know where to find the civic resources. Oh, this is where the post office at. Oh, this is the best supermarket. This is the place where I can go get my diapers for my baby. And you can get right to it, because I feel like other people, when they come to our Black Meccas, they build an infrastructure in it for them. Right? You see Asian people there getting money, God? Let you see. You see Asian people and like maybe Arab people and different people of different ethnicities there in North Carolina getting money?
All the time. That's who get the money.
See?
That's who get the money. Unfortunately, just from my view, it's not too many of us out here trying to do it. I mean, people are like comfortable with it. We've been dealing with it for forever. They always saying, well, it's better than the 60s, the 50s, and so on and so on. But then if you do the science behind it, you see that that's not true. We had the same, we financially the same way doing
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem. That's why we do have platforms like this to educate. You know, let them know that,
Yep.
you know, only way we're gonna really be able to empower ourselves is we have to re-educate ourselves. You know, and it's like we
I
said.
actually,
Go ahead.
I think I sent y'all something, family, and it's talking. It was a video that the United States Department of Commerce made called in the 50s or late 50s, maybe 60s, called "How to Sell to the Negro."
I was aware
Now,
of
what
it.
that tells you, what that tells you is that they know that there's a lot. First of all, the Department of Commerce would not invest to make a video to explain to their white people how to sell to black people if there was not a large chunk of money involved in this. Let's put that on the table first, okay? Number two is that they know they have this map of the 16 black economic centers. They might have a few other ones on there too. I just, picked the number 16 because it's a very important number to us, which I'll get back to. The problem is that we don't know about these 16 Black Meccas. I myself, I make my product, my soap, my oils, and I used to make other products as well. And I've been to quite a few of these places, and I just showed up.
Okay.
And I made lots of money. I sold out every time and came back with no product, whether it be music or whether it be my, my health and skin products, family.
Okay. All right, peace, family, and that's part one of my sit down with my brothers from out west, John Morocco and Lord Magnetik, speaking on the 16 Black Meccas. I got coming up, my next show is gonna deal more with the music, and you hear more from Morocco on the next one, and I just think that this stuff is important, and we have to learn to link up and pull our resources together in order to compete with whoever.
Why the hell we still acting good? It's okay to burn down the hood. I just say that you're misinformed. If you still think this shit yours, well, if it's still yours and you're set, why you let the po-po run that shit? You should let the 4-pound split his cap. When you smell it bacon in your trap, why you let him out? Throw his pig ass in the trunk.